processing lingering guilt and shame. And that one,
Yeah.
that's a big one.
How did that impact you?
Oh, the guilt. The guilt
Yeah.
was really hard. I mean, I felt really guilty towards God for a long time. Like I felt like I was hurting him. That was the first
Mm.
thing. It took me a while to realize that that's what I felt. But there was
Yeah.
a lot of guilt. And then I felt guilty about my son because I raised him in church and now I'm not going to church. And so
Oh, I hear that a lot.
what
Yeah.
kind of mom am I? He even said to me one time, "You changed, mom." And the
Mm.
way he said it, the look on his face, guys, it might make me cry. It really, it was like, ooh, like he wasn't mad, but he was disappointed, kind of,
Mm.
and so that one tore my heart out.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
That's really tough. The way that it impacts relationships can be really difficult, and is an opportunity for us to do a lot of differentiation work and learning to let people feel the way they do about it. And
Right.
that's not because we have deliberately harmed them. Sometimes something's just sad. I think a really good example of this is when somebody maybe is LGBTQ and they come out to a loved one. There can be an understandable amount of grief there that
Yes.
is not non-affirming. It's just an adjustment of expectations. Maybe I always assumed that you would get married to a woman and that we would have grandkids that were biological. And now that shifted a little bit, and that's going to take me a little bit to process. But that doesn't
Yeah.
mean I don't love and support you. Sometimes it does mean that, and that's another can of worms. But yeah, I think that letting people feel the way they do, I think is important. But
Well,
the guilt and shame is huge. Sorry, go on, and then I'll talk about guilt and shame.
I was just going to say, part of my guilt too is I actually had people within the church turn on me, full on turn on me, and actually tell me they
Yeah.
can't be my friend. These are people
See, and
that
that,
the day before they were telling me how
yeah,
much they love me, and then the next
yeah,
day,
yeah.
yeah,
Is that your fault?
no,
Yeah. No, it's not.
it's their
It's
response to my action,
yeah, and that's a tricky thing to sit with because it's a result of something you've done, right?
a
But
decision.
it's also a very very disappointing reaction on their part that's, in my opinion, completely unnecessary. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's sad when that kind of thing happens, and I think it's also coming out. And part of the deconstruction for a lot of people is realizing you're not the main character, as the kids say, meaning not everything is your fault in this
oh
context.
yeah,
When people reject you or people say judgmental things, that doesn't mean that you've done anything wrong. That may be more of a reflection of where they are at.
bingo,
And that's a hard thing to internalize because of again, the conditioning puts people in a place where it's the automatic assumption when somebody is upset with you or disappointed with you immediately goes to, I have done something wrong.
right, exactly. That's so true. Yeah, and I've said this before, but we're responsible for our actions and our reactions, but we're not responsible for their actions or their reactions.